Welcome, learners, to week 7. We have only 2 more weeks remaining, and this is your last week with your reading group. So it's very exciting. The focus for this week is government and economics, which is something that we often think of as a culminating class in senior year of high school, but actually is something that is embedded in the standards and the framework starting at the very beginning. And if we don't teach government and economics all the way through at grade appropriate levels, then when they get to the senior year, it can be very overwhelming. So there are 4 assignments beyond this video. There's an annotated constitution. I'm going to show you examples of this so it makes sense. A really great resource that I want you to analyze and pull a lesson from. Your last reading, and then another lesson sketch. All right, so this assignment has multi-parts. So I want to make sure I take time to look at it. One of the new requirements from the state, it's about 3 years old, is that we cover the Constitution in detail within our classes. This prevents you from having to take a Constitution test or a Constitution class after you finish your undergraduate degree. So when I became a teacher, I had a Constitution class because I have a political science degree. But my husband, who became a math teacher, had to take a Saturday class for 4 weeks where he learned about the Constitution. It's a requirement for all teachers. So this assignment is part of fulfilling that requirement so that you don't have to take the Constitution class or the Constitution test later. So again, there are multiple parts. Here we are in Bright Space, and not week 8, Miss Professor Kinsey, week 7. All right, so here's the assignment. You're going to make a copy of this Google Docs and get this document. And it's going to tell you use this link. This is to the archives. So it's our Constitution. And the first thing you're going to do is answer the questions. It's very straightforward. They don't need to be in multiple sentences, okay? It can be just, how old do you have to be a representative? The answer can be 25. How long is the term for a senator? 6 years. So this does not have to be detailed. Step 2 is to go to this website, the C-SPAN Constitution Clips, and watch 5 videos on this annotated Constitution and align them to the Google Docs. So it's best if I just show you kind of the finished result and then I'll go backwards. Stated in red, he watched a video about how often are representatives elected, and then he told me about what was in that video. So you can see the detail and explanation here, proving that he watched the video, and he did that 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe I skipped 1. Oh, there are 5. Okay. So he did that 5 times. So you're going to go to that website and you're going to watch 5 videos and attach a comment. Because of this, you need to do this as a Google Doc. If you submit this as a PDF, I actually won't be able to see your comments. So then all that work will be kind of not there. But you can see the length and detail that I'm looking for. So this is what happens when you go here. So this is from C-SPAN. And so you click on one of the blue, and those are video clips. And you watch one of the videos, and you'll see in the student's example, he wrote clip 1. You watch one of the videos, and then you attach a comment explaining how the video related to the Constitution. The second task is to go to this website, iCivics, and iCivics is supported not financially, but with hard work from a lot of our Supreme Court justices. So it's a public organization that has lessons for teachers. It also has games and websites and all sorts of really cool stuff. So you're going to sign up for iCivics. You can use your Laverne Google or your personal account, but make sure you're signing up as a teacher because that's what this class is. And you're going to review some of the lessons, download a lesson at a grade level that interests you, and then in the text submission box, explain how you would use this lesson. So you'll say, I downloaded the 6th grade lesson on the Federalists, and I would use this lesson with my students for this standard. So it's about a paragraph or 2 of information. It's not a full lesson plan. It's just sort of how would you use the lesson that you identified. And I know some of you are geared towards primary, this will be a good opportunity to explore those upper grades. We may wish to teach first grade, but we may not teach first grade when we're first getting started teaching. So you don't always have control over that. So it's good to get a wide breadth of grades. This is your final reading, the week 7 reading. So it's all of chapter 11 and then part of chapter 12. It's really focused on civics and economics. And so make sure you take time this week to say goodbye to your groups. Some of our groups have just had the most amazing discussion. And so if you've been in one of those groups, I'm so happy for you. If it didn't work out for you, I'm sorry. But we've had some really functioning, engaged groups, and it's been a pleasure as your professor to see that happening. As always, you do not need to submit to Brightspace. I will check Slack for that information. All right, the final lesson assignment is another lesson sketch, and I want to talk about lesson planning. You will probably be told by other teachers, I never lesson plan, or you'll see Instagram posts making fun of 5-page lessons. But the point of lesson plan isn't something that you'll do when you're a fifth year teacher. The point of lesson planning is to build in our head this narrative of thinking about the whole lesson and how we're going to approach it. Yes, when you are a 10th year teacher, you're going to do that naturally. But before you get to that point, you need to stop and analyze. And I like to compare it to cooking, okay? When you're first learning to cook, you follow every step of, well, most people follow every step of the recipe, right? They read the recipe multiple times. They get all their ingredients out. My husband doesn't, I love to cook, so my husband doesn't cook very often. And so when he cooks, he gets everything out. He gets all his measuring things. He does a fine job, but he's just not used to doing it at the frequency that I do it. I now, after being a mom for 15 years, I have memorized many of my recipes, right? I can make my kids' favorite chocolate chip cookies by heart. I don't have to look that up because I have done it so much. And so that's how it's similar to lesson planning. In the beginning, we want to stop. We want to think thoroughly. How am I going to accommodate all diverse learners? How am I going to teach the standards? How am I going to introduce a topic? How am I going to check what students understand, which is assessment? We need to stop and think about all those things. And when I teach a new subject, so I recently started teaching a new subject, human geography, 5 years ago. When I first started teaching that class, I bet I was doing some pretty heavy lesson planning. Okay. And it took me a long time. And even this year, this 5th year into teaching that, I still have to really sit down on the weekends and be like, okay, am I getting everything? Am I getting all my standards? How am I going to change my assessment? I'm still really thinking about it. So I just don't want to discount the lesson planning process. It's important. And maybe that recipe analogy will help you. So this week you're going to do a lesson sketch. Did not put these videos in Edpuzzle, but I have 3 videos for you showing how you could teach economics at a primary level. So mini markets, kinders, and classroom markets are pretty common. And then these are 3 different resources with other lessons. So you're going to be doing a lesson sketch of an economics lesson at a grade level of your choice. But these 6 for week 7, I wish you all the very best this week. And I'm going to try to grade week 6 like Monday. I wasn't as fast last week, but I have started already grading things that have been submitted for week 6. And so I will